Pierre Pigou, International Crisis Group's senior consultant for Southern Africa, joins us live via Skype from Johannesburg. Good evening, Pierre.
Good evening, and good evening to the viewers.
Thank you. Now, President Ramaphosa, right there in the country where you are of South Africa, is saying, lift the sanctions. Sanctions, perhaps the biggest obstacle to Mnangagwa's ambitions to bring some reprieve to his people.
Well, you know, I was just tweeting and putting something out on Facebook on this issue because sadly, President Ramaphosa is not being advised correctly or accurately on the issue of sanctions and restrictions that are currently on Zimbabwe. I don't think anyone who really understands this situation would argue that sanctions are the cause of the current economic situation, or that the specific measures that are currently in place, if lifted, would actually have any significant impact on the economic recovery. I mean, to this point, even President Mnangagwa and his finance minister, Mthuli Ncube, have both said that they can no longer use the sanctions argument as a justification for not moving forward in Zimbabwe. So I do think President Ramaphosa has been ill-advised, and unfortunately, you know, he's claiming and he's making statements which do not really assist the situation.
Yes. Now, we know that one of the reasons why we had this eruption of demonstrations is the increase of the fuel price. Mr. Mnangagwa is trying to find a way of raising funds. What is the best way forward for him? What can he do?
Well, I mean, there are very limited options for him. He's put a reform package on the table that some on the left describe as a neoliberal agenda, a structural adjustment program. It's an austerity program, essentially, that is designed to cut government costs and also to somehow improve the ease of doing business, encourage investment, improve revenue collection by the state in order to be able to drive the economy forward. I mean, it's a fairly simplistic set of options that have been put on the table at one level, but there's big questions. A, whether that can deliver a broad-based and sustainable recovery. So he not only faces criticism about this from those who don't think that this is the appropriate measures, there is also criticism from a number of people who say, well, you're not even implementing the measures and the reforms that you claim that you're doing. And then, of course, he also faces an attack from within his own party, from hardline elements who are dead set against reform because it undermines their own options in terms of the predatory practices that they've played and continue to play in the current economic situation. So he's in a very, very difficult situation, but that's a benign interpretation that he doesn't have a dog in that fight, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. You know, Pierce will definitely pursue this in the coming days. I want to thank you very much for your insights today.
That's my pleasure.
Thank you very much. That's Pierre Pigou, who is an International Crisis Group senior consultant for Southern Africa.